So you are live now.
Hello.
Yeah, so you are live. You're live now.
Yes. Let me start then.
Yes, sir, you can start with your presentation.
I'll start.
Yes, sir, you can start.
Okay. Uh, Very good afternoon, dear doctors. First of all, I thank the total team of IJCP who has made Nisita, uh, Pratik, and Priti, those who have made this event possible for today. First of all, I congratulate all the doctors, those who have joined here, to go through a journey. That means we have enjoyed so many science, so many things for last 2 to 3 years. So there are questions always coming into the mind whether the same type of thing will continue one after another. How many years we will be visualizing this type of waves in the world? Whether there will be exit at any point of time the COVID is going to leave us or not. Or the variants are after variants they will come and they take away our all livelihood, all life one after another. So many queries are there. So my topic title today is will there be fourth COVID wave in India or not? We have seen the many COVID variants as of now. You see Omicron, then B1, then BA2, BA3, so many variants we have seen. So now this COVID virus disease has started in the year of last part of 2019. And that is the reason this COVID is nomenclature as coronavirus disease. So this coronavirus disease 19, it has first started from the Wuhan city of mainland China. And this is a RNA virus and having a lot of spikes on its surface. And that's why these spikes are known as corona, or you can say just like a crown over the head. So that is the reason the virus is named as like RNA virus, coronavirus disease. This coronavirus was there and it will be there, but there was a mutation, and this particularly corona, which was there in the bat population, got mutated and became human pathogenic, and never we, the human species, has uh, expressed our antigen or immune system to this particular virus. So it is all the whole population and the whole human race is naive to this virus, and that's the reason it has gone from pillar to post across the globe to 20 countries, and it has caused havoc. So new names proposed for COVID variant. We started the journey with main China virus that was known as Alpha, Beta, then came Gamma, then Delta variant was supposed to cause more death in Indian population, and that was responsible for the second wave. First wave was due to Alpha, and the second wave was due to Delta. And these Alpha and Delta, Alpha is responsible for the first wave, and by that time we never know what is COVID virus, how to tackle, what are the situations, whether they will be admitted or not. At that point of time, a lot of hue and cry was there, and almost all the life has come to stand and still. The flights were cancelled. I mean, the buses and train, everything has gone to a pause, as if the whole planet and globe had became a standstill in a very silent mode. And thereafter, we got some news, we got some experience regarding the COVID disease, and during course of that, in second wave, we have experienced the Delta disaster. Many deaths has occurred in our country due to Delta. So what are these? These alpha, delta, beta, whatever we are telling, these are all variants of COVID. So third wave, I have already told the first and second started with alpha, ended with delta. Then the three wave or third wave has been seen in the last year, that is 2022 in January. The wave was known as Omicron. And this Omicron is a very transmissible virus of the parent virus, that is alpha strain, and it has very good transmissibility. The R naught became, it was around 8 to 10. That means one virus is going to infect near about 8 to 10 population. And here, what has been seen by that time, we are having some infection immunity and some vaccine immunity in the last year. So that is the reason. What has happened during the course, we got many cases, but we do not get so much of lethal and admission into the hospital. So let us think about, before going to the fourth variant is coming or fourth wave is coming or not, what do we mean by variant? A virus that got a mutation in it is known as a variant. That means the virus has a nature to multiply into the billions of copies once it enters into the host genome. Viruses constantly change and become more diverse. But as a rule, once it is more towards diverse, initial waves, they will be more lethal, but gradually, once the third wave, fourth wave, and smaller waves will come, they will be more transmissible, they will be more contagious, but lethality and the fatality will be less and less. So with this knowledge, when we go to the journey of my topic title, whether fourth COVID wave in India will be there or not, why we are worried for this? It is, we are definitely worried. Why? Because we are seeing the China right now. Today is 16th January 2023. Right now, there is a disaster going on in China. So what has happened really in the China? That means that the news is always creating a question in our mind, in our brain, and the general population. They are asking, COVID-19 fourth wave in India, will it be dangerous? First of all, whether it will be, if at all it will be, will it be dangerous? Whether it will come back to the situation like Alpha and Delta like situation again, it will be there. There will be lockdown, shutdown. Again, the life will be standstill. So many queries will be there. So during journey of my slide, we'll see that what is the real answer, whether fourth wave will be there in India in short time or not. So what has happened in really in China? We tell that China is a huge country having the highest population across the globe. That is 1.41 billion, 141 crore. 1 crore minus 140 crore is the population of India. But we are densely, thickenedly, we are populated. But from beginning, from 2019 onwards, the China adopted a strategy of zero COVID. What has happened, because of the zero COVID, once a case is detected, immediately there was discontinuation from that point, and they were not exposed to the virus till now. That means the natural immunity, the host immunity, the infection immunity is not there because of the zero COVID policy. Then with the vaccine which is given in China, they are telling that they have given to 2 crore doses. God knows, because the data whichever is given from China, it is a questionable. I'll tell you that they have declared that 10,000 deaths has happened till now in China. But you see, when 5 lakh odd deaths has happened in India, how come China will have only 10,000 deaths as of now? So this is a question to thought, because we know that the China is not projecting its figure and data rightly, neither to WHO nor to the rest of the world. Whatever it might be, because of zero COVID policy, the life was almost standstill in China. So Shanghai, Beijing, and almost all parts of the China, what has happened? People were under the lockdown. So that is the reason they started rioting. They started going against the administration. They wanted that they should come out from that zero COVID strategy. So because of the huge pressure by the public, the China declared that this zero COVID policy is over on December 8 last year. So what has happened? The world changed overnight on 8th December, exactly 1 month back. Zero COVID overrules bring and joy and definitely fears in China. What has happened once towards the end of the year, the zero COVID policy was taken out. So there was a mixing of the population from the urban towards rural, rural towards semi-rural. So like that, there is a great movement of the good population inside the community. So that exposes them the same virus. That means the virus which is creating a variant now, maybe it is B7 or it could be XBB 1.5, whatever may be the strain, whichever is causing the outbreak in China, it is just mimicking like alpha and delta wave, the first and second wave, which had in our country 1 or 2 years back. So that means they were not having any immunity. Regarding the vaccination immunity, they claim that the vaccination of the Chinese brand, that means the Sinovac, which has been given, the efficacy of that vaccine is only 50%. So that means that it was not a potent vaccine, whereas the Indian made Covishield, Covaxin, almost all are more than 90% efficacy. So if I say like that, the vaccine efficacy is not good, effectiveness is not good, and they were not having infection immunity. So that's the reason the virus has gone beyond the boundary. It has gone to almost all places of the China right now. And that is the reason 85% we can say they will be mild symptomatic, 10 to 12% they will be moderately symptomatic, less than 1 or you can say 1 to 2% will be severely symptomatic. Those who are having 70 years plus definitely having comorbid, and they are the real prey of this outbreak right now in China. So what has happened? The whole health system as of now in China has been paralyzed. There is a queue in the hospital and there is a queue in the funeral places. So what is happening? Because of the huge number at one point of time, it has been projected that every day almost China sees now on an average 5,000 deaths per day. So in China, witnessing its post-pandemic outbreak since one, while most countries are opened up their borders and doing away with COVID restrictions, China, on the other hand, is currently witnessing its post-pandemic outbreak since one strain. So I mean to say, India, the situation is different. Why we have experienced first wave, second wave, and most possibly the wave last year that was Omicron. The Omicron was explained by many experts that it was the natural booster. That means those who were having the vaccine infection immunity, they got another variant infection, and that acted as immune booster, and that's why that was really causing almost each and every individual of the India, more than 90% of the population got infected by Omicron, and that is the reason the virus has been exposed, and we do have stronger immunity against the moderate to severe infection against COVID. So that means if we are having infection immunity, then we may get catarrh infection of by the new variant because of the waning immunity, but we are not supposed to have moderate to severe, or we are not going to be hospitalized. So Times of India, January 15th, today is 16th. That means yesterday only the WHO urged China to share more data on COVID outbreak after Beijing reports 60,000 deaths in a month. That means I'll tell you what has happened. That means the China has declared that for last 1 month, 60,000 deaths already has occurred in China. It says that there is an upsurge, outbreak, and there is a upsurge. Good number of people are being infected because they do not possess any immunity due to infection, neither robust immunity due to vaccination. So while international health experts have predicted at least 10 lakh deaths this year in China, but China projected only 10,000 deaths since COVID began. So it is the thing to think. And what has happened? The China never project its good data or the reliable data to the rest part of the world. So that is the reason a bordering country like India, a populous country like India, just like 141 crore population in China, 140 crore population in India, we are there to think whether there will be a next fourth wave disaster in India or not, whether India is going to be next China in our country, whether so these queries will be understood by subsequent slides once we go ahead. So few days back, near about 20 days back, that this BF7 COVID variant, it created panic in our country. So everybody thought there is a new variant is coming and it will cause more death and more admission into the hospital. So we have forgotten to use mask now. We have forgotten to take that much of SMS, social distancing, mask and socialization, and what you say sanitization. That almost we have forgotten. So whether it all will be implemented again or not, although so far the reports claimed that BF7 Omicron variant is currently the dominant strain in China, causing the new wave in the country China. But our expert of INSA Cargo and NK Arora said that the BF7 only accounts for 15%, whereas the majority 50% are from BN and BQ series, and SBB variant is 10 to 15%. That means there are a lot variants are there. One of them is BF7 in China, causing disaster right now. So whether this BF7 new variant is emerged in China, whether it is available, it was there in India, whether it was there in other parts of the world, the answer to this is that the BF7 was there in India few months back, but it was never caused any threat into the population. So our agencies, those who are going a whole genomic sequencing, they have told BF7 was present in Indian population. Number two, the BF7 is not a new variant that has emerged in China. That we must know. It has been reported from other countries before current surge in China. BF7 accounted for more than 5% in US cases and 7.26% in UK cases in October. So that means the BF7, which is causing outbreak in China, along with other variants, they were present in other part of the world. So that's why that is happening so virulently in China, because they were not having any infection immunity, neither they are having any vaccination immunity. And that's the reason what we observed in the Delta wave, what we observed in the Alpha wave, the same population is now facing that. As if we say that the Delta wave is now happening in China. It's not Delta, it is exactly the Omicron variant, you can say BF7, or the new variant outbreak is going to happen in China. And every day, on an average, 5,000 deaths is going to occur in China till the month of March or April that is projected. So in India, there is a good response. I can say India is a country which controlled or which faced this pandemic very nicely. So our health administration, our government of India, our state, we in liaison with the state government, everybody has played their role very vital. At Delta, there was a lot of death because of non or ignorance towards the management, and we never know how this COVID virus behaves and what are the drugs at that point of time. Favipiravir, remdesivir, so many things were came into limelight, but finally WHO told this azithromycin, doxycycline, this hydroxychloroquine, all those are useless in the management of COVID. So there is Indian SARS-CoV Genomics Consortium, and this has been established as of now in 54 places across the India, and their main thing to go for whole genomic sequencing. So the spike proteins are there which are projected on the surface, they are going to change, and there is always the mutation happens. But if the mutation is such, say their transmissibility will increase, then definitely that will be a variant of concern or variant of threat and variant of what we say that it is to be a consideration will be there. If that is there, then only every time the what are the new variants are emerging in our place. So that is going on, ongoing study is every time is being there. It has been projected that near about 1 to 2% of the total testing is to be tested for whole genomic sequencing to know the presence of new variant in our country. And this whole genome sequencing is a process. It was there for the bacteria population. Now, viral population, now it is being utilized for the COVID outbreak and COVID different genomic changing. This Indian SARS-CoV Genomic Consortium reports genomic surveillance of SARS-CoV-2 across the country through sequencing samples, not only from the Sentinel sites and from international passengers arriving in India, those internal passengers arriving in India, those who are found to be positive, and what is the genomic sequence of the COVID virus in them that is being studied. So India has right now, I can say 7,000 COVID-19 mutants are being studied. But few of them, just like Delta, they came out to be variant of concern and highly transmissible, and they are causing more and more infection. But gradually, I will tell you the first COVID, second, third, fourth, gradually the wave number is more. That means the lethality, the fatality will be lesser and lesser, but the transmissibility will be more and more. So it has been told the BF7 or XBB, which is having R naught 14 or 15. That means one virus can infect near about 14 to 15 cohort of population in comparison to Omicron, whose R naught was 9 to 10. So India cases updated today only. There are confirmed cases of 4.4 crore population. They were coming to be positive. The death as of now is around 5.3 lakhs. Whereas if you go back to China, they have only admitted that the 60,000 death has occurred during this last month, and prior to that 5,000. So that is 65,000. It's not possible, it's not acceptable. But what can be done? Only thing, the data which has been projected by National Health Mission of China, that is the data given to the rest part of the world. And how many cases recovered? The recovery rate is so good in our country. As of now, we are having active cases to the tune of 2,000 to 3,000. Now, COVID variants, 11 Omicron subvariants traced into international flights in 11 days, says government. So I told that the INSACOG, they are going for whole genomic sequencing. They came to know that XBB, a subvariant of Omicron, and its sublineages, they are found in 14%, 35% of the 40 samples. Then BQ11 and its lineages has been found in 23% samples. So that means whatever international flyers they are coming to the India, they are having different variants in them. Health Ministry officials said between December 24 and January 3, a total of 9 lakh international arrivals were recorded in the country. Of them, 19,227 people underwent COVID test and 124 were found to be positive. So that means the rate of positivity, the test positivity rate is going down and down in our country, including international travelers coming to country, and as well as inhabitants of India, because of robust immunity given by the vaccines as well as the infection immunity. That's kind of twin immunity. That's kind of, I can say, dual immunity. So that means that immunity is going to help us getting from admission or going towards moderate to severity if at all we are infected. So regarding BF7, cases have been found recently in 4 cases from West Bengal, and 1 case was reported in Odisha, and that was traced to a person who had been now went into United States. COVID-19 cases on January 15 in India reported 104 cases. On an average, we are getting 100 to 200 cases positive daily, and with that, the active cases tool has gone to 2,149 over the span of last 1 month. If you compare, the China is seeing near about lakhs and lakhs number of cases being positive daily, but in comparison to that, our number is limited to 100 to 200, and such type of admission rate increase we have not seen. So we can say that whether any variant which will come, that may be more infectious, more transmissible, but that is not going to be more lethal or more dangerous, so that we should not be panicked that we are going to face another delta wave, another alpha wave, or I can say another Omicron wave in our country. So the question lies whether fourth wave is going to happen in India. Yes, if a transmissible part, I mean, increases, some other new variant will come, maybe XBB or maybe BF7 or some other variant where R naught will be more than 15, that will cause more cough and cold like a situation. But because of the 90% plus population in our country is having some kind of immunity, whether infection immunity or vaccine immunity, they are not going to be supposed to suffer from severe COVID. So this COVID B7 in India, global studies have shown that the corona variant as a sub-variant of Omicron is highly infectious and spreads faster than other variants that we have discussed. So this lead to severe disease, whether this new variant BF7, XBB, are they going to cause severe disease? Is a sublineage of Omicron variant BF5, which has been referred to as the great grandson of Omicron. BF7 variant has a greater ability to infect previously infected or vaccinated people, a property known as immune evasiveness. Now, this newer variant, they evade the immune system and they go into the different parts of the body. For an example, they travel from the pharynx into the nose, pharynx into the lungs. They can cause pneumonia, but they are not going to cause severe pneumonia or hospitalization. However, there is no evidence that it causes more severe disease because we never had BF7 causing outbreak in India as of now. Whatever data we are getting from the US and Europe and China, that BF7, that is again simulating the same clinical signs and symptoms what we got the COVID in the last or in the past waves. So what are the symptoms of the new variant? Increased occurrence of joint pain, upper body pain, URI, and vertigo has been observed, but added that no study to that linked these symptoms to the new variant. So it cannot be confirmed that these are the symptoms will be the symptoms in our country when BF7 outbreak will be there. So if you have this, it is advisable that you get yourself tested and seek the right medication. Now, if anybody is having sore throat, runny nose, fever, high grade, cough with or without phlegm, headache, hoarse voice, muscle pain and body ache, and altered sense of smell, these are the telltale picture of COVID infection or respiratory viral infection. Now, it is not only the flu, it is any Omicron variant or any subvariant of Omicron can be a possibility. But unless and until you do the test, how do you know that? But now, as of now, everybody is now accepted the life with COVID. That they know that it may be COVID or it may not. There is no specific treatment available for that. Whatever will be there, the paracetamol, zinc, vitamin C, and this antihistaminics will give, and they will be cured with or without treatment within 5 days. So that means there is no specific medication for the COVID. And if we are telling from international travelers, those who are coming to our country with symptoms or without symptoms, they are now mandated that we are going to be tested or they are going to be tested. Now, those places where outbreak is going on, mostly you can say China, then Thailand, then Singapore, then Hong Kong, so Japan, all those places, those who are traveling, definitely they should go for one testing 72 hours before they travel. And if that is negative, then only they come. And after coming, there will be again testing. If they are symptomatic, they will be tested. And if at all they are coming to be positive or symptomatic, 7 day at home isolation or hospital isolation has to be done. So this is the policy right now, which our government of India has projected. Amid a spike in COVID-19 cases in some countries, including China and South Korea, the government has sounded an alert and asked states and union territories to prepare for any eventuality. So now, theoretically, we can say even your Maninder Agarwal from IIT Kanpur, that he has told that if even if there is a surge or a fourth wave, but but it will not be lethal, it will not be dangerous to our community. So first of all, we are supposed to that those who are 60 years plus or those who are going to a good gathering area, definitely the self protection is better. Those who are having comorbid, those who are having aged population, I mean 60 years plus, they should avoid into going to those places or crowded places. They should stay at least for a few months at home. Even if they are going and they are having such a important work, they never forget SMS. That is social distancing, masking, and sanitization. So this will keep us updated that even if you may not acquire COVID, but you may not acquire flu as well. So COVID-19 travel advisory, which has been given in our country, negative RT-PCR report now required to arrive in India from those countries. Declared countries are 6: China, Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, Thailand, and Japan. Will now have to produce a negative RT-PCR report from a test conducted 72 hours before the actual journey into India. Now, COVID guidelines revision 2023 India revises COVID guidelines, change of rule at the Indian airport for passengers. But it has been told that keep alert, but do not be panicked. So these are the lines has been told again and again by many experts like Randeep Guleria from AIMS New Delhi, then N.K. Arora, who is expert in Chicago, and so many are even government the stakeholders. They are telling that there will be a surge, or even if at all it is coming, don't be panic. Again, avoid going to the crowded places, follow SMS, and whatever revised guidelines again and again coming from the government, please abide and please obey that. And finally, those who have not taken booster doses, it is a request to all of them that they should go for the booster. That means people now they have taken two doses, first and second dose, but 18 year above, those who are not taken the precautionary dose, it is high time they should get. Now for few days, the lactating mother and the pregnant mothers, those who are coming and they have not taken the booster dose, it has been request to them that go to the nearest center, even if paid or by free by the government. This COVID app doesn't bother; they have to be inoculated. So this is the message from our doctor community to them that to survive from to not to have fourth wave, it depends on our behavior. It depends on whether we are being totally immunized by the three doses. That is important. So government advisory, the government has advised the state to ramp up testing and administration of the booster dose, asked agency to increase whole genomic sequencing. There has been apprehension regarding surge of COVID variants looking at China situation. So this is the answer that even if there is a threat, even if there is a apprehension among the community people, but still then the main thing is that the booster, many places, if suppose somebody has not taken any dose of the vaccine, he or she is requested to take. And many cases, many adults, I mean many geriatric population, if they have missed the booster dose, please it is a request they should take the booster dose so that they are not going to die. So one line that this complete COVID vaccine is not going to prevent infection, but it is going to prevent from the mortality and death. So this Omicron XBB, most prevalent subvariant in India as of now. I told B7 is there, but total number of 5 or 6 cases has been positive over the India. So in northern part of India, XBB variant, whereas in the eastern part, it is BA 2.75. That means India is a versatile continent where the genomic sequencing differs from one part to another. But however, in total, it is the XBB is prevalent now. Any increase in disease severity or hospitalization has not been observed. So yesterday only it is 105 or some cases has been declared positive, and out of them none of them has got hospitalization. Whatever active cases are, they are mostly they are in home isolation and they are doing well. So that means it is high time that those who have missed the second dose or precautionary dose, please they should get their dose, and we are here the ambassadors to pull them into the vaccine pool so that they will be immunized. Apart from BF7, the most virulent strain that is steering cases in USA is the XBB 1.5 variant of coronavirus. One of the most evasive variants against immunity, high escape and fusion with human cells, high AC2 binding. I have already told the newer the variant, the more transmissibility, more is are not, but less is lethality. And now USA already I told BF7 and XBB is causing this outbreak. USA, I can say Europe, Japan, and South Korea like that. Will there be fourth wave in US? The expert Tom Frieden told whether or not we have a fourth wave depends on how well we mask up, limit the people we share indoor air with, and vaccinate. The same way, every country telling their population that you should vaccinate yourself, avoid and follow SMS. That's the same thing we can also tell whether the fourth wave will be there or not. It depends on our behavior towards the COVID. Is India is heading towards a fourth wave of COVID-19? There will be no fourth wave in India. So I will say there will be no fourth wave in India. It means that if at all some cases will come, they will be minuscule number. There will not be a fourth wave, just like Omicron, which has happened in the last year. The level of natural immunity in the country is strong enough to fight any further outbreak. Over 90% of India's population has acquired natural immunity. No severity can be expected even if one individual is getting infected. So this is the line. The science behind the story is that the situation in India is completely different from the situation in China. So COVID-19 vaccination in India, it is utter to surprise that India has administered over more than 2.2 billion doses overall, including first and second precautionary doses of the currently approved vaccines. In India, 95% eligible population, 12 plus, has received at least one shot, and 88 to 90% of the eligible population is fully vaccinated. So still there is some chunk of population that is near about 10 to 12% is yet to get the second or the final dose. So it is the time has come. They should go and take the vaccination. There is an indigenous COVID-19 nasal vaccine is available in CoWIN portal. That means it will be given towards the end of this month, January. People who have taken both doses of COVID vaccine are eligible for this nasal booster dose. Those who have taken two doses, they are. Those who have taken the booster, they are not eligible. That means as of now, there is no recommendation for the fourth dose. The nasal COVID vaccine will be available for people aged 18 and above. The nasal vaccine, that is in Covax, will cost 800 rupees in private hospital, whereas for the government hospital the cost will be 3 to 5. Doesn't matter, 4 drop into each nostril, and the another dose has to be repeated after 28 days. So if a person has not taken the booster, very scary for the injection, they can take this nasal vaccine, indigenous vaccine, which is again a adenoviral vector vaccine. 4 drop, again repeat after 28 days, another 4 drop. Fourth COVID vaccine dose unwarranted right now, but increased surveillance needed. That is going on, and that's why continuous whole genomic sequencing is being held in SAGOG all throughout the country in 54 to 56 agency labs. Indian population have hybrid immunity. I told twin immunity, hybrid immunity. Travel ban or lockdown is not needed at present. Indian population exhibit a kind of hybrid immunity, which is combined effect of natural infection and good vaccination. BF subvariant of Omicron is already detected in India. A new pandemic demanding excessive care of hospitalization is extremely unexpected. So what I mean to say that even if new variant will come, even if it is B7 or B7 lineages, even if it is XBB or XBB lineages, the variants which are causing outbreak in different parts of the world, the same variant or a new variant, if it comes to India, there will be more cases, only cough and cold. Because I'll tell, because of our situation in India, almost each individual across the country has been naturally infected, even to the population of less than 12 years, those who are not vaccinated. So that means it's a good thing for our country that our country people has already exposed, and they are having hybrid twin immunity because of the two things. One is natural infection, another is by vaccination. So the situation which has already started in India, you can't imagine that many persons across in these crowd places, they're not wearing a mask. People have forgotten how to and everything, and they know that nothing will happen. Almost they have forgotten, and they have started life just like pre-COVID era. Before 2020, the life, the way we used to pass our life, the same lifestyle has already been started. So post COVID-19 scenario define the new normal human life. That means definitely we have to think that new variants will come because it is the nature of multiplication of the corona or RNA viruses. And once it enters into the body, it maintains, it copies into billions of copies, and during that some mutation may occur, and some mutation they are going to be lethal. No, that will not be there because once after another. If you go back to 100 years back, there was a flu pandemic, and that was known as Spanish flu pandemic. In that, near about 5 crore population died. Now, as of now, total population died is around, you can say, 30 lakh and odd. But what has happened? 5 crore population in the last 100 years back. And in that phase, that also came out to be first, second, third, and thereafter smaller waves. And after 3 years, the Spanish flu disappeared every 100 years. And before that, there was a cholera pandemic. Before that, there is a plague pandemic. So every 100 years, the pandemic repeats, the history repeats. But we should be prepared enough. If there is a new variant will come, which will be more transmissible, probably that may cause outbreak or upsurge of COVID cases in India. But however, However, if we are going to the this fly or to a crowded places, it is always better to protect ourselves at least by a COVID mask, so that what will happen, if I am having any infection, I will not disseminate, or the suppose somebody is having that, because of the COVID mask, because of the mask, they are not going to disseminate that virus to the other people. So that is the only thing it has been left. And what should one to do to stay safe? One must get vaccination or booster as early as possible, provided they have not taken. If they are waiting for the nasal vaccine, they can wait. And at the end of this month, through COVID app, they can go and purchase either from the government sector or from the private sector by paying the amount, and four doses or four drops into each nostril, and 28 days after another dose will be given. Also, one should follow the basic safety protocols of the pandemic, which the last 20, 21, and 22, 3 years plus, we are being experienced with three things: mask, wearing mask properly, keeping hands sanitized, and maintaining social distancing. So this SMS is going to help us, and it will prevent the amplitude of the disaster or the fourth wave will be minimized. So I can say with science behind the whatever knowledge we acquire, that there will not be fourth wave, but that doesn't mean that we'll be callous, we'll be loose. No, we should protect ourselves by using SMS, and we should abide by the whatever changes, the new guidelines will come time to time. So with this, I must urge my dear doctors, friends, don't be panic, because this is the situation, this is the time where we should not be panic at all, and we should not make panic our community people. So that's the reason, and I wish all the way, because life is a big journey, and we learned many cases from this pandemic, and it has created a lot of interest into the webinar and all those things. 3 years back, we were not used to have webinars, such kind of thing, and nowadays, before or during the COVID pandemic, there was tsunami of webinar. Every day there is, from morning to night, series of webinar on different topics, as well as with COVID topic. But with this, the first topic title was, will there be a COVID-19 outbreak in India? Answer is no, but it doesn't mean that we should be loose. We have to obey SMS. We should avoid going to the crowded places, and definitely our geriatric population in our family, our parents, our grandmothers, grandfathers, those who are there, definitely they should stay at home, and if possible, they should avoid going to the crowded places. And in India, there is a whole genome sequencing is going on. If at all any new guideline will come, just like 5, 6 countries, those who are coming, they are supposed to test negative before getting entry into the flight. So this type of guideline will come, and it will be changing. But we should protect ourselves, because the main guard which is going to protect all of us is only SMS. So with this, I must thank the persons, I mean the team which has made this type of webinar to a reality. I thank to them. I thank all my beautiful doctors, those who have enrolled and listened what I have told, the science behind whether fourth wave will be there, with the answer that fourth wave will be a not a reality in our country in India, because we are having in a good situation, having each individual, whether they are vaccinated or not, are having a good immunity, and 12-year plus they are having all Indian population, more than 90% is having hybrid immunity, and we are in a better situation. So thank you very much. Jai Jagannath, thank you very much. If at all any questions will be there, I'll be taking shortly. Yes, there are a couple of questions I can see that coming to first question, how BF7 variant will trigger major COVID wave. So how BF7 variant will trigger major COVID wave? I will tell, we are in a situation having two immunity. One is infection immunity, another is vaccination immunity. And our situation is very good. And I can say that the robust immunity, even if they went out, but there are memory cells, they will may not prevent infection. Definitely, they are going to prevent severity. So that's the reason BF7 is nothing but a sub variant of Omicron that is highly transmissible, near about 15 times I can say the unknown is 15, so they are going to infect near about 15 persons. So they, even if that will be an outbreak, that will cause more cough and cold like situation, but they are not going to trigger a major COVID wave or fourth wave in India. So coming to the next question, Omicron XBB most prevalent sublineage in India. Your comment on this? Yes, there are always whole genomic sequencing is going on throughout India by this Indian COVID centers. That means genomic centers, a consortium. They are going to take samples from sentinel sites and as well as from the international travelers. And some from the inhabitants of India, the 1 or 2% of the COVID positive cases are being tested in a whole genomic sequencing way. And it has been seen that the northern part of India is having XBB, and this the eastern part is having BA variant. So I say, even if it is XBB is the predominant subtype which is going on, but till now, every day, I mean the last 10 to 15 days, on an average, we are getting 100 to 200 cases positive per day, but none of them has been admitted and none of them have been died. So that means I can say that even if the new variant is coming, or the another new variant which I don't know, we don't know, maybe a causing outbreak, they are not going to cause any lethality or fatality. This question again, question number 3, how long will this continue? Definitely, if you go to the past, always the history repeats. 100 years intervally, the pandemic repeats. What we experienced got from the Spanish flu last 1920, it took near about 3 years to vanish. And even after that, that was becoming small outbreaks where they are from different pockets of one country. So the same thing may happen that we are not going to test, neither we are going to do anything for the COVID, but what will happen, whatever common cold and cough and cold will be there, one of them virus will be COVID, and that will be endemic, and we are going to stay with this. So the majority which has happened all throughout the globe, that is going to end, because this is the 2023. And if at all the fourth wave is going to happen, except China, no country in the world adopted zero COVID policy. And that is the reason the US, the European countries, the Japan, the Australia, almost all countries across, they including India, we adopted that. We are not through stringent criteria of zero COVID policy. So what has happened? Almost each individual, they have suffered once in their lifetime, may not be once, maybe twice or thrice, this natural infection. So they got a good immunity against that, and definitely they are being inoculated. And with the potent vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine is the number one vaccine which has been given, mRNA vaccine, throughout the globe in US and European population. Another is mRNA Moderna vaccine. So those vaccines were quite competent, good, potent. Efficacy is more than 90%. And the Chinese brand, the Sinovac, was near about 50%. And that's the reason this will continue as a COVID endemic disease, not as a pandemic disease. The pandemic is going to end, the endemic will continue. So last question, is there a need for booster shots? Yes, there is a definitely need of booster. I mean, booster shot is otherwise known as precautionary dose, or a booster shot that is known as third shot or third dose. Those who have taken 18 years above, those who have taken 2 doses, they are going to take another dose after 3 months. So that is the new guideline. And if anybody has not taken, definitely they will go for a heterologous booster. If they have taken Covaxin, they can go for Covishield. If they are taken Covishield, they can go for Covaxin. Or there are other brands which are available in Indian market, like Corbevax from BE, Covovax from Novavax. So these vaccines can be given as booster, and as well as I told that Incovac, that is the nasal vaccine, which is the first time in the Indian, not only Indian, in the world market, that will be given as 4 drop. Those who are caring for the injection, they can continue. But as of now, there is no recommendation of the fourth dose. So I mean, we all doctors and paramedicals have taken 3 doses, but there is no recommendation to go for the fourth dose, not even your nasal dose. Nasal dose are recommended for those who have not taken the booster dose. Either they have taken 2 doses and they are ready and waiting for the third dose, and they can go for either third dose or 2 doses of nasal vaccine, that is in COVID. So with this, I must summarized like this in 5 points that in India we have experienced whole of the COVID for last 3 years. That means first wave by Alpha, second wave by Delta, third wave by Omicron, and fourth wave will not be a reality. Why it is so? And it is just India never will be just like China because China adopted zero COVID policy, but our policy was totally different, and more than 90% population is having hybrid immunity. One is from infection, another from the vaccination. So it is an urge to whole fraternity and the population staying in India. Those who have missed out, they are about 12%. They have not completed the full vaccination. They are requested to take as soon as possible. Once it is available, irrespective of the brand, they must go for the heterologous booster, and that will update and educate and potentiate their immunity, and they will be protected from that. But having said this, immunization full is not going to prevent from infection, but definitely it will prevent from the severity, admission, oxygen, this. But if at all, if any variant, if there is a small or moderate upsurge will be there, India is now ready enough to face this type of upsurge, if at all it is going to happen in India. That means the oxygen scarcity, all those things will not be there. A state administrative is now in coalition with the center, that a mock drill has been done a few days back, that oxygen and everything is ready. If at all the surge of cases will be there, this ventilator, everything is ready, and the same type of management will be given. As of now, the IV remdesivir is kept for the moderate to severe cases, but not for the mild cases. But country like US and Europe, the Paxlovid and this molnupiravir is given to the mild cases. But India, we don't have that molecule as of now. Now, last line, it is always whether the fourth wave will come or not, but definitely we should protect our guards. I mean, we should elevate our guards against COVID. It is not going to prevent only COVID. It is going to prevent from the flu infection, any respiratory viral infection, and always it is always better to have this maintaining hygiene, sanitizing our hand, and keeping a mask, going to the crowded places. So it will. And if we want to learn from Japan, Japanese people, once they leave home, they will leave home with a mask. That is their nature. That they do from their childhood, and they protect and they do continue throughout their journey, whole life they maintain that. So we may not that, but still it's a request. As long as the government guideline is declared that the COVID and pandemic is over, till that period, at least we can follow a little bit of that, so that we can protect ourselves, not only ourselves, but also our race and our older population in our home and community. So with this, I thank again to the persons and the team which has allowed me to speak on this close to my heart, that is whether fourth wave will be there or not. And I finally thank all my viewers, those who logged in spite of their busy schedule. And it's an urge that please protect yourself, protect your family, and definitely then only you can give some quality treatment to your doctor, to your patients. Thank you very much. Namaste. Thanks a lot. Jai Jagan.